Good evening. It is a joy to be back in Cincinnati. My name is Candy Marballi. I serve with the Children's Ministries and International Ministries of the 40-Day Prayer Covenant, which are one of the same. I will make a confession that it is not easy to follow such anointed speakers as Rick and Dr. Jerry Kirk and Dr. Louise Bush, but I am here to share with you tonight a simple yet profound story, and because it is a God story, and that is the story of the Kids Prayer Covenant. It began in the summer of 2013 when I received, and my husband Vic, a call from Jerry asking if we would prayerfully consider being part of a monthly prayer covenant call. We had the privilege of hearing Jerry speak on the prayer covenant for several weeks. We were both praying the prayer daily and experiencing the power from it, and so we agreed. 2 months later, on that first call, I was blown away by the participants. But if you know Jerry, you know he is extremely well connected. And there were governors of denominations, founders of ministries, just very key, influential leaders. And I put the phone on mute and I mouthed to my husband, why in the world did he ask us to be on this call? And after the call was over, I had shared nothing on the call, but I went to my Heavenly Father and I asked if there is a purpose for this, if there is something significant you want us to contribute, to please reveal it to me and make it very clear. And it was while praying, as I did in my quiet time every morning, through the adult prayer covenant, and asking him, what do you want me to teach the upcoming children's choir at Hope Church, that God gave me a vision, clear as day, of a children's prayer card. And I remember leaping from the couch, going into my husband's office and saying, what's Jerry going to say? What should we do? And he said, it's a wonderful idea. Jerry's going to love it. And I telephoned Jerry. He was very responsive and very gracious. And he asked me to assemble a team of educators that would work alongside his team, and we would see what would happen. And 6 months later, we developed the prayer that is before you now. It was then our senior pastor's wife, Amy Kirk, who said, Candy, I think you should think about writing a teaching guide for parents to go with those prayer cards. And my first reaction was I just laughed, but then it resonated with me. And I called Stephen Iyer, and he said, get started. And I want to add that Stephen is such a gifted writer. It was an honor to work on this project together. We had a wonderful time. And as Dr. Louise mentioned, by God's grace, the book was awarded gold for education in a national press release for 2015. Katie Steele was another woman on that committee. She's with 414. She introduced me to this amazing ministry. And she often would say to me, Candy, I am praying for the right time to introduce you and my Uncle Jerry to Tom Victor. We were praying right along with her. And about 2 months later, we found ourselves on a call together. And it was so exciting and a wonderful experience to hear more in depth about the work 414 was doing as I've been a ministry leader in children's churches around the world. And he was so excited about the prayer cards and gave very helpful feedback in the process of writing the book. And when the book was completed, I sent it to him, and he was delighted with the finished product, and he invited us to launch the book at the upcoming conference in New York. It was a best practices conference where over 1,000 global children's leaders would unite and look at different best practices for their ministries. So it was just an honor and a joy and a privilege. And I often tell children that we serve a God of surprises. He has asked us to walk by faith and not by sight. And he is a blessing God. He blesses obedience. And I will say that in 27 years of ministry and growing up as a PK, that one of the greatest joys for me has been following Jesus together with these dear brothers on the Prayer Covenant team and with our international leaders. Their selfless love and their devotion to Jesus and to those they serve inspire me every single day. And tonight you have the opportunity to hear from them firsthand how tens of thousands of children in their area of reach have been discipled by this simple prayer tool. Why are we so passionate about prayer, especially for children? Because if we are committed to not losing a generation, as the 414 video so beautifully demonstrated, then we need to teach them to pray. The most effective tool we can give our children is one that will nurture their relationship individually and collectively with their Heavenly Father. I believe teaching children to pray is a mandate. And I love the passage in Psalm 78, 3 and 4. Things we've heard and known, things our fathers have taught us, we will not hide them from their children, but will tell the coming generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord and his power. Kids need to know and understand the power they possess through prayer. They need to know their voice counts in the kingdom, and they need to know and understand the significance that Jesus has placed on each one of them. Reading Bible stories to our children is wonderful. It is important, but it is not enough. We need to engage kids in ministry. We need to encourage them to follow Jesus with one another. We need to spur them on to love and good works, and we need to teach them to pray with passion, with power, with persistence, and with holiness. As a parent, what I see when I hear Dr. Louise share about the pain and suffering of children in war-torn countries, when I look at the statistics across our nation of suicides between the ages of 10 and 18, when you discover the percentage of boys and girls who are sexually abused within the church, and when you see the percentage of children in our world that are living in extreme poverty, you begin to understand that no matter how hard we try, we will never be able to protect our children from all the difficulties of this life. But we can nurture their relationship with the one who will sustain them through those difficulties. So I ask that you commit with me in teaching our children to pray. And on a happy note, I will say, how huge a fire can a tiny spark make? Well, imagine one child praying for another child, and that tiny spark going from child to child, from city to city, from nation to nation. Our children would be energized. Their prayer lives would go from perfunctory to powerful. And that power which we know is the working of the Holy Spirit, I believe will raise up a generation of world changers, the likes we have never seen.